What is going on, guys? In today's video, you're probably watching this in 2024, right? It's probably Thursday, and we've been getting asked by so many of you guys to do a video on one of the most ruralest, most bougiest suburbs of Albuquerque, and that is Corrales. And in Corrales, you can expect to see farms, ranches, horses, bougie little breakfast spots, and some of the best places that you can come down just to enjoy nature and still be 5 to 10 minutes away from the Sprouts. So hang tight, grab your pen and your pad, and let's get into today's video. Alrighty guys, now just to give you a brief history on Corrales. Corrales used to be home to the Tehuix Native American people, and in the early 1500s the Spanish came and settled here. They created land grants, built all their buildings and all that stuff, and believe it or not, some of those generations down the line of families are still here in present day. So you can see all the different stories and histories, and I believe they even have some museums down here that you can visit that gives you a little bit more of a backstory of Corrales. But this place is so bougie nowadays that it feels like Hallmark will come down here pretty soon to film Western-themed Christmas movies. But really, guys, I just want to thank you so much for stopping by the Living in Albuquerque channel. If this is your first time tuning in, do yourself a huge favor and hit that subscribe and notification bell down at the bottom. That way you guys never miss out on any videos, because we are dropping videos every week talking about what places like Corrales, Rio Rancho, and Albuquerque have to offer. And as much as I love doing this, guys, I would love to also help you out with your real estate needs. So that number popping up on the screen is my direct line, and me and my team are ready to get on a quick call with you guys to talk about all the different areas here in Corrales, Rio Rancho, and Albuquerque to make sure you're making the right decisions before heading down here. But let's hop into today's video and talk a little bit more about Corrales. As you guys can see, from all the old structures, the wood on the fencing, a lot of the rural charm is still very alive down here. And we're standing at the community center, which is massive. It's huge. I'm talking about it's a few acres, and in the back they got a pond. One of my favorite secret local spots, if you are ever down in Corrales and you want to get away for just a bit and you want to go to where only the locals go, the pond back here is freaking awesome. And aside from that, if you are living down here in Corrales, you also will have a community center down here that has a pool and kind of like a splash pad and water slide and all that stuff, a skate park, tennis courts, and then a big open field. And right now where we're standing at this community center is the local market area. During the spring and the summertime, and even in the fall time, they'll host farmers markets where the whole community gets together in support of one another to make sure that they continue to grow and prosper with their neighbors. But you'll see farms, gardens, all these different types of rural living still very alive down here. You'll even see it in some of the architecture that they'll use, repurposed woods or just revitalize an old structure to make it look brand new. Because who would want to take away that old sense of feeling that no longer exists, or take away something that's been here forever and is a part of the history of living in Corrales, right? I'm standing in front of one of the many art galleries down here in Corrales, and alongside of it is my favorite cigar shop, which is Padres. And the community engagement down here is just freaking amazing. And for all the cultural riches in between the buildings, all the community, they do a really good job to make sure that that stays very active and very alive in between, the old church, all these old buildings that are getting revitalized to make sure that they still continue to thrive. These two buildings are super old. You walk into Padres and the floors are all uneven, old wood floors. You can see the vigas in the ceiling. It's adobe. It's just so quaint. It's so awesome. And that's the tranquil living that people pay for those cultural riches that are still very alive. In between the fall festivals, winter festivals, and even like the farmers markets that are all along down Main Street, you are bound to have that old school feeling still very alive. And if that's something that you're longing for and searching for, this is going to be the place for you. The homes down here in Corrales, and you might be like, man, did Eli get too cold? He's in his car. Yes, it is freezing out here. It is 28 degrees outside. So yes, I'm doing this video, or the rest of this video, from inside of my car. And the homes down here, just to jump straight into it, are selling around $700K, right? You're looking at old farm style ranches, a couple of acres, and there's two different areas to Corrales that I really want you to pay attention to, because of course the closer you are to Main Street and the river, the more you're going to pay. Up the hill you go, and you're going to be living in a more desertous area, which is nothing bad because you sit on top of a hill. 2 years ago I sold, a mansion, basically a 5,000 square foot house that had two houses attached to it that sat on top of a hill. It's a very beautiful house. big windows that gave you the view of the valley and the Sandias, and you can see some of Jemez as well, believe it or not, which gave these owners a sense of like, man, this is it. It really felt like home when you walked in there, and it was a multi-generational house that they were purchasing not only for themselves, but for the grandmother to come and live there and spend her last days very comfortably with them, and that way they can keep her close, but really passing it from one family to another and really taking advantage of the market at that time, because the house back then was around $500,000. Nowadays, I'm sure it's close to more like $1 million, just because of the size and where it's at and how much land there is. But really, guys, down here, you're going to get old and new homes. The southwest adobe style is very prominent, of course, the closer you get to the river, because it's the older side of Corrales. Now, with all that being said, guys, back in the day, it's funny that I read somewhere that back in the day, the lands used to stretch from the top of the hill all the way down to the Rio Grande, and that's how big the plots of land and the land grants were. So little history, little information there to help you guys make your decision, and also keep in mind that living down here, just because of where you're at, you also may pay a higher tax rate. So keep that in mind, budget it right. And again, we can hop on a quick call to talk about all this, right? That number popping up on the screen is my direct line, and I'd love to discuss all these topics further with you to make sure you guys fully understand and fully are aware of where you're wanting to live if you are thinking about moving to Corrales. All right, guys, now with all that good stuff about homes being said, I want to head into this next topic and show you guys exactly how deep we're into Corrales. We're about halfway point, and if you live about here, this kind of gives you a good idea about how close you are to Albuquerque and how much of a hop, skip, and a jump you are to everything else. So hang tight and enjoy the ride. Man, what a ride. And to be honest with you guys, the commute from Corrales to Albuquerque or Rio Rancho isn't going to be super long. It's one main road on either side that you're trying to get to, and everything is going to be of convenience to you, especially on the Albuquerque side, because you're going to have like the Sprouts, the Costco's, the Sam's Clubs, and the Cottonwood Mall there for all your different kinds of shoppings, and all the restaurants around there, of course, too, as well. Now, if you're traveling to work, say you're traveling to the east side, maybe a longer commute, about 30 to 45 minutes. And just to give you guys an idea of how far the healthcare systems are, right? UNMH in the middle of Albuquerque is about 30 minutes away, and Russ Medical Center is going to be about 14 minutes away. Track it. Let me know. It might differ from what time of the day you're going to these different areas, so just be mindful that Corrales main road is really just that. It's one main road, one way in, one way out, and there's no two lanes, there's just one. So if you're running late, I feel bad for you. Now, to wrap all this up and give you guys my final thoughts, whether you're looking to live in somewhere that's super close in proximity to the city but still out and it feels rural, you get that sense of community, right? These are my thoughts, and if I had to live anywhere that I was looking for that hallmarky kind of feel like that Western vibe and also very slowed down living, Corrales would be probably a place that I'd pick, just for the sense that if I could stomach the price, right, over $700K for the average sale of a home down there, and it may even be super old, then I would move there. And a lot of people do. A lot of people seek this place out just because of that, just because of the slowed down living. It's very ranchy, very community based, and everybody supports one another there. So if that's something that you're looking for, again, guys, that number popping up on the screen is our direct line. And as much as we love doing these videos for you guys, we love to help you out with your real estate needs. So feel free to reach out, let us know what we can do to help, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, oh my Lord, watch me sway, darkness falls and we all pray.